All right, we are so excited to have Chrissy from Guinness World Records with us. We are attempting a Guinness World Record, but first we have Chrissy with the official jacket. She looks official. Chrissy, can you tell us about your role with Guinness World Records and how long you've worked there?
Yeah, so I'm an official Guinness World Records adjudicator. I've been working here for 2.5 years. So essentially what I do is I travel around to various record attempts around the country to witness and verify those attempts.
Oh, okay. So in those 2.5 years, what are some of the wackiest, craziest records that you've been a part of?
Well, one of the most like amazing aspects of record breaking is being able to see the incredible kind of unique skills of our record holders. And so every attempt is kind of remarkable in its own way. But one attempt that always stands out to me personally is the longest feather boa, which was attempted by Ripley's and Madame Tussauds last year, so June 2019. So they created this incredible boa that measured over 1,900 meters, which, for reference, is 4.5 times the height of the Empire State Building. So it's
Wow.
huge. Yeah. And so they laid it out on the street in front of both of the museums between the avenues, and it just had to keep, folding back and forth on itself. And they'd created it to celebrate World Pride in New York City and to raise money for a charity. And so at the attempt, they had these amazing performances by drag queens. And then at the end, they had them all line up and all wear the feather boa together. So it was really a lot of fun. And it's definitely one that stands out to me.
Oh, that's super cool. So was it multicolored boa, or were they able to find enough feathers of the same color?
It had different patterns along it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's a huge supply issue. Can you imagine the call for that? It's like, we need this many feathers. Like, what are you doing? We're making an awesome boa. You got to see this thing. So that is pretty cool. So I was in the lead up to this interview. I kind of told you that the Guinness World Record is an iconic brand, and it's certainly something that I grew up with and always thought, man, that is super cool. When you tell people what you do, what are some of the common responses you get?
People are always amazed when I tell them where I work. And then they're even more amazed when I tell them what I actually do, that I got to kind of, go out and verify these records and actually witness them. And so for the older individuals, they kind of have the nostalgia of reading the books as kids. But for the younger kids, they're still reading the books, and now they're kind of interacting with record breaking on social media. And so it's really exciting for all ages, whether they're young or old. I'm a celebrity to my 11-year-old niece, but also to my parents, But the most common question I get is actually the one that you've just asked, what's the coolest record you've ever seen? People love to kind of learn more.
For sure. Because you're getting to see the extremes of people's abilities, right? With everyone's wanting
Absolutely.
to, let's do this, and so yeah, you get to see. I'm sure when you get a request, you're like, I never thought that was possible.
100%. And it's awesome to see everyone kind of pick up on a particular skill that they have and kind of hone it and craft it into something that then does break a world record. It's really awesome.
That is incredible. So has there been any running records that you've adjudicated for, or that you've seen or been involved with?
Yeah, so I actually adjudicated the LA Marathon this year in March. And so that was another really cool one. So I was able to kind of interact with the runners in the lead up to their attempts. And most of them did all different kinds of costume records. We did have one record holder who ran the fastest marathon dressed as a traffic cone. So it was really fun to see what everyone, brought to their record.
Yeah, marathons provide such an interesting distance, and the amount of costumes I'm sure you've seen, has reached an all-time, but they're not done. You're going to see many more awesome, intriguing costumes, I'm sure. So,
Yes.
with all these changes to now the way that things are with COVID-19 being delayed and changed. How has that impacted your Guinness World Records? Have you seen what changes have you seen happen at Guinness?
So many of our records are community-based, and they do tend to take place at physical events. So now that gathering in person isn't really an option. Many of those in-person events have shifted to online since that's just a new way that we're all connecting with each other. So then we've taken our record-breaking world online as well. And so, we now have an entire section on our website dedicated to our virtual record breaking. We have the GWR Challenge, which is a weekly record challenge that anyone can attempt on social media. We have lists of records for people to break at home. We have this really fun podcast where you can learn about records that were broken on this day. And then, if you want to test your record-breaking knowledge, we have Guinness World Records trivia. So we kind of have something for everyone. And our goal is always to inspire people to find what they love. And so even though we're inside and online more now, we still want to kind of inspire that creativity and continue to provide an outlet for people to learn about records.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and I really appreciate that perspective that you're looking for ways to inspire creativity and connect people to the awesome, right? It's like, here, I'm going to show you something cool. And you guys certainly help lift that ideal of what else can you do? Let's see what else you can do. And that's so cool. Can you tell us about how Guinness partners with events and organizations like the Calgary Marathon?
Yeah, absolutely. So we partner with marathons around the world every year. We've done London, Toronto, LA. And so what we do is we offer on-site adjudications for runners who are interested in attempting a Guinness World Records title. So the application process is very streamlined for the runners. You get reduced evidence requirements and verification day of. And so it's really an exciting opportunity for runners to have an adjudicator to verify their attempt in person. And it's also a really great way for them to add something extra, just because, many people who participate in marathons run for a variety of reasons, to raise money or awareness or in memory of a loved one. And attempting a Guinness World Records title can really help amplify that.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And Calgary, I talked to Kirsten Fleming. She's with the Calgary Marathon organization. She's the chair and lead race director. She was looking so forward to this year and having somebody from the Guinness World Records. And as you've indicated, that's changed. And you guys and Guinness has been fantastic at being very flexible and showing a desire to be involved. So one of the questions I wanted to kind of ask you is, how can charities use a Guinness World Record to help advance their cause? And what are some of the most unique record attempts that you have seen done by charities?
Well, attempting a Guinness World Records title is a great way to raise awareness and to raise money and to get the whole community engaged. And one of my favorite ones that I actually had a chance to work on was the longest bra chain, which was attempted by this charity called the Athena's Cup. They are a charity that raises awareness and money for breast cancer. And the foundation was started by a woman who wanted to honor her friend who was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so this attempt was 10 years in the making. So they spent 10 years collecting bras for donation from women and families all over North America that were going to be used in the chain and then donated. And many of the bras they collected had these really sweet handwritten messages, with the names of loved ones who were lost to breast cancer, or words of encouragement from supporters. So in total, over the 10 years, they created this chain of almost just a little under 200,000 bras, which is about 125 miles long. So it was crazy big. The visual was incredible. And it was just like an awesome and super creative way to sort of demonstrate all of the lives that are affected by breast cancer. So yeah, there's really so many different and amazing kind of inspiring ways to raise awareness for your charity.
Right. So the group itself did all the work, and that they wanted to. So what then Guinness does is provide that platform to then continue to show socially, here's what they did. This is a record, and you just allow the platform to be raised even further to amplify their record and their attempts to connect. So yeah, I've been a part of a few of the Mito treadmill and other Guinness World Record attempts, and over the 12 years Mito has been involved. They've attempted. They were going to have 10 Guinness World Records at the Calgary Marathon this last year, but as we indicated, that the COVID has created a difficulty with that. So this year, Mito Canada worked with you to establish a new record, which is being attempted today, Sunday. and the record is the most money raised whilst running a marathon. Can you walk us through the process of how Guinness establishes new records and what people need to do to achieve this particular one?
Yeah. So there's a few steps from beginning to end that allow us to verify a record attempt. So the first step is to submit an application for the record you want to attempt. And so once you do that, we'll send you the guidelines. And then the second step is for you to review those guidelines, ensure that your attempt complies with them, and then to submit any documentation that might be required prior to your attempt. Step 3, the best part, is to attempt the record. And then step 4 is to gather all of your evidence for submission. So for most money raised whilst running a marathon distance, that would include the log of donations received, the proof of donation to the charity, the marathon information, and the race results. And so then our records team will review all of the evidence you submit, and we'll be able to determine if a world record was achieved.
So pretty easy, right?
In theory.
In theory, it's just, yeah, I could do that. And then when you're actually doing it, this is a lot of work. And you're right, it is a lot of work. So how long would you say that process typically takes? Just to kind of give an idea to a viewer who may be watching us right now thinking, I want to try a Guinness World Record. What's the typical process and how long will that take?
So the standard application process is 12 weeks to receive your guidelines and then 12 weeks for evidence review and confirmation once you submit. But when you attempt a record at a marathon that we partner with, the process is expedited so that you're prepared for race day, and then we confirm the record day of on site.
So, yeah.
So much quicker.
Much quicker, much better. So what's your advice to people when they say, I'd love to try Guinness World Record one day? What's your recommendation? What advice would you give somebody that says, I want to do a Guinness World Record?
Well, first I would say do it. Just go ahead and do it. We aim to inspire people of all ages and backgrounds, to attempt records, and we love celebrating all of our unique record holders. And so if you see a record you want to attempt, or you have a particular skill that you think could be a record, we definitely encourage you to apply. Because record breaking is for everyone and it's so much fun. It
is a lot of fun. So what words of inspiration would you like to share with the Team Mito runners that are going to be going at it today, who will be on the course, and to the donors who are watching?
Well, the runners have dedicated so much time and effort to preparing for today's race, and we are so excited to see their efforts come to fruition. It's inspiring to see how hard they've trained, to see them push forward to take part in the race and attempt a Guinness World Records title, despite not being able to run the marathon under normal circumstances. So for the runners and the donors, not only will you be raising money for an amazing cause, but in doing so, you have the chance to be part of a world record and make history.
That is so great. Chrissy, we're so grateful that you spent the time to share with all of us and the viewers this perspective. And good luck on your next adjudication project.
Thank you. Best of luck to everyone.